So, Parker and Christian,
What's up? Hello.
can we have a moment of honesty?
Yeah, I would love it.
We've made it 2 episodes further in than I thought we ever would.
We're 2 episodes in. This is big.
Yeah, no, this is an exciting one. Welcome back to a moment of honesty. As a recap, because I know you've all forgotten, I'm Jake.
I'm Christian.
And I'm Parker.
So today we're going to bring, hopefully we're going to get to my topic this time because I got shortchanged because Parker's took up literally 90% of the podcast last time.
Oh, sorry. Was it too interesting? Because it almost seemed like it was maybe too interesting, and that's why we had a lot to talk about with it.
All I'm saying is I put almost 5 minutes worth of thought into my topic, and it got brushed aside like a little orphan boy.
Well, maybe we can get to it this time.
Or maybe not.
I guess it's, I guess we'll see here. But in the spirit of keeping things consistent, tonight I think we're going to go ahead and start off with Parker again. So Parker, want to give us for those who didn't listen to our first run through here, want to explain to everyone how we arrived to our first topic?
So we've been a group of friends here for a couple years now, and Jake and I and one of our other buddies, Vince, oftentimes like to go off into the weeds about talking about sports, much to the chagrin of the rest of the group, as no one else really is into them.
It's a nice FCAT word, by the way, chagrin.
Nice FCAT. Yeah, I was trying to get a $5 word in there. And Christian, I feel, embodies the other half of our group with his general lack of almost any sports knowledge whatsoever.
I want to
Christian?
lead by saying yesterday I was able to name all 32 NFL teams without looking
That is
at
true.
anything. Me and Jake did a test run. I named all
We did
32.
Okay, so he did name all 32. He needed a little bit of help, and it took him a while.
It took me about 20 minutes, but
I
lot
asked
of
him
thinking.
to name. I asked him to name a couple of football players. Do you know? Or no, I asked him to name a couple of. I don't remember what you said. I think it was basketball. Maybe I don't remember what it was. Do you know who he asked me if they were a pro athlete, Parker?
I would love to hear it.
He said midway through, he named a couple LeBron James, Steph Curry, all that, and he goes, "Is Jesse Jackson a pro athlete?" And
All right, Christian. Well, so if that gives you guys any inclination of where Christian's head at when it comes to sports is.
I was thinking about James Jackson, the tight end of the Pittsburgh Steelers, of course, was where my head was at.
Jesse James.
Jesse James, actually.
Damn it. Never mind.
There's literally 3 people famous named Jesse James. You got him, the famous burglar, or the famous Wild West robber, and the guy who Sandra Bullock married. He was from American Chopper. So I know that you knew.
Nice.
You're a huge American Chopper fan, Christian.
Big
So,
AC fan.
luckily he cheated on Sandra Bullock, but that's neither here nor there. So Parker, why don't you go ahead and tell us what we've whipped up here?
So originally we were just going to do a quizzing Christian on general sports knowledge topic, but we thought that might feel a little bland, so we decided to spice it up a bit. We're going to play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Sports Edition. So I've devised 10 multiple choice questions that are going to get progressively more and more difficult as the quiz goes along, and Christian is going to attempt to answer these questions. He is going to have 3 lifelines. The 2 of which are the standard lifelines, the phone a friend, but in this case it has to be Jake because he's the only other person on the podcast. The one where 2 of the multiple choice answers will be taken out of the equation for him, and we've switched the last one because the last one in actual Who Wants to Be a Millionaire is the audience answers, and you just get the percentage points of which they voted for.
By the way, we'd love for you all to participate, but
Yeah, so if you guys want to send in your answers, by all means. But we couldn't do that, so we've switched the last one to we're going to give Christian a vague hint about the answer to the question.
I actually meant to ask you this yesterday. What sports are we going to be covering?
We're going to be covering the big 4 in American sports, which are
cricket,
baseball,
lacrosse, rugby, and luge.
Nice. Water polo gets like an extra credit question as well, so that'll be exciting. No, but we got hockey, we got football, we've got basketball, and we have baseball.
One thing I was thinking of, we agreed that Christian, because this could be over real fast, there's a high chance Christian will get this wrong on the first question. We've agreed Christian gets 3 wrong answers. What I think, though, Parker, I think he gets 3 wrong I think he gets 3 wrong answers. So if he guesses incorrectly twice on one question, that's 2 wrong. That's 2 out of his 3.
That's 2 of the 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Christian, for reference here on this one, Lauren, my girlfriend, took this quiz earlier today, and she got 4 out of 10 questions correctly. I didn't give her any of the lifelines. I just had her answer them as I was writing them out.
Okay.
And she got 4 of them, all of which were in the first 5 questions. So they were the 4 of the 5 easiest questions. So
Gotcha.
By the way, a round of applause to Parker and Lauren. They're celebrating their 1-year anniversary today.
Aww.
it's a big deal.
Parker, because you're obviously busy with the show tonight, and she's in class or whatever. Why don't you go ahead and tell the folks how you celebrated your 1 year yesterday?
Well, started off with a beautiful breakfast at one IHOP.
It was IHOP.
It was IHOP. It was a nice IHOP trip, though. We then went to get pedicures, which was a whole thing. I've never even seen a pedicure happen, let alone gotten one myself. And there was this weird moment where they put my foot in some orange liquid that then turned into paste while I was, like, my foot was just in a Ziploc bag with this orange liquid. It was kind of weird. Not really sure what that was about. And then we went to see Dark Phoenix, which, much to Christian's chagrin, I didn't walk out of saying that everyone involved should absolutely be fined.
Trash.
And Christian, tell me, go ahead and tell everybody, how many times have you seen that movie again? Because I can't remember the number.
I don't need to see it. I've seen the reviews, and I've heard the feedback. And here's the thing. Have you seen X-Men Last Stand, or are you familiar with X-Men Last Stand?
Let me just say, I'm glad you're the one who wants to make the film review show on our channel, and you're the one who's berating a movie you haven't even seen before. But continue. What about this other X-Men movie that has nothing to do with the one we're watching?
It got horrible
It's
reviews, correct?
story.
X-Men Last Stand. People said, oh, this is like the worst ever. When this one came out, a lot of people were saying, hey, as long as it's better than X-Men Last Stand, it'll be a win. Everybody said it was worse than X-Men Last Stand, so that's enough fact for me. I don't need to go see it.
I didn't realize that I was on a podcast with someone who's just a sheep who follows the crowd and doesn't make opinions for himself.
Honestly.
That being said, let's go ahead and get this ship underway.
Can I throw in something really quick? I think,
Please throw something in.
because Jake and I talked about this yesterday about how I thought I would do on the quiz, and I feel pretty confident as long as it sticks to the sports and their rules and vocabulary terms, that sort of thing. I think if we get into teams, player names, or like anything with years, that's where it's gonna lose me. Like, because I know the basic rules behind the sports.
Say this.
What's up?
I will say this. I don't have any dates.
Perfect.
You don't have to know any dates. I feel like that's a little too
Risky business.
wonky.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, it sticks to sports and their rules. Little bit of we'll just see how it goes. But yeah, there's not going to be any what year did this happen, or who won the Super Bowl in X year. It's not going to be any of that stuff.
Okay.
It's going to be all pretty straightforward questions. So Christian, remember you have 3 lifelines. You're welcome to use them at any point throughout this 10 question quiz. We're going to start off with a soft pitch here.
I'd like to mention, too, even though I'm not the one being interviewed for this, I am going to be participating in the background. I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to get 8 right.
I think 8 is a nice, honest answer to give yourself. I wouldn't be surprised if you came out of this with all 10, because I made the precedent that I had to know the answer before I put the question. I didn't look any of these things up.
Okay.
I knew all of these off the top of my head. So Christian,
Yeah.
first question. Name a team that LeBron James has played basketball for. We've got A, the Cavaliers, B, the Warriors, C, the Nuggets, or D, the Broncos.
All right. Well, I know it's not D, because that's a football team, the Denver Broncos.
Good, I'm glad you got that.
What city are they from?
Hoping.
Denver, Colorado.
Oh.
He's already passed my expectations.
Yeah, right?
I've never...
I did kind of blow by picking a Colorado team, though. Christian knows his Colorado.
That's where the fam's from. The Nuggets I've never heard of before, so I'm going to assume it's not them, because LeBron James is a pretty big player. I know of the Cavaliers and the Warriors, but to be completely honest, it's a 50-50 toss-up between the two, because I have no clue which one he played for. but I really don't want to use a lifeline on the first question.
On your first question, this was supposed to be an easy one for you to get the juices flowing.
God damn, I'm trying to.
Did you read off the answers, Parker, by the way?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, we got Cavaliers, Warriors, Nuggets, and Broncos.
While Christian's thinking this over, one little fun fact about the Nuggets, guess who owns them?
Who's that?
My boy Stan Kroenke.
Stan Kroenke does?
Yep, he also owns
he
owns the Colorado Rockies.
Why does he own Colorado?
He owns the Rams, the Rockies for baseball, the Nuggets for basketball, and of all teams, Arsenal Football Club in the UK.
Wow.
Yeah.
That man's got some nice teams under
Yes,
his
he
belt.
does.
He also let's not shortchange the man. He also owns the LA Gladiators
That's true.
in the Overwatch.
That's true.
League.
I mean, my boy Bishu, I don't know. Good diva player.
I mean, it's whatever. Christian.
Yeah.
Where are we at? We got Cavs and we got Warriors left in your brain here. Which one you going with?
I know which one I'm going to answer, and I just want to preface this by saying this is based off of no knowledge that I have at all. This is 100%.
This is just
this
a
is
shot
a
in the dark.
100% guess. I'm guessing the Warriors.
Oh my god.
Is that wrong?
Christian is out on the
God
first
damn.
question.
So
Really, Christian, you don't know that he played. You know the meme of the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead?
I'm going to tell you this.
Yeah.
If it's basketball, I know I named 5 players yesterday, 3 of which are retired. I know
I'm not
LeBron
even
James.
sure if they're alive.
I know LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Shaq, Larry Bird, and Wilt Chamberlain because they were in NFL
And Jesse
Street
Jackson.
Volume 2 and Jesse
It's
Jackson.
NBA. It's NBA, not NFL.
Oh, I know Steph Curry too. He's a basketball player. Yeah,
He
I know
is.
his name.
Let's not kid ourselves. Kobe Bryant, you've heard that name. Kobe.
No, hey, Christian's exact words. He's familiar with the first name Kobe, like when you throw a piece of paper into the trash can, someone yells Kobe.
You didn't know the last name
He
Bryant?
couldn't tell me Bryant.
I didn't know what his last name was. I just knew people go Kobe and then they throw something. So
This is gonna be harder to get through than I thought it was gonna be. I'm gonna be disappointed, Christian.
yeah, I mean,
If
yeah,
we get to 5, I think we should go through all 10 questions, but you lose the game if you lose.
if I
Yeah.
lose, okay, yeah, that was
All
like I
right.
said, that was a complete guess. I could have never.
Okay, I mean, so Cavaliers is obviously right.
Cavaliers is okay.
Yeah. So we're off to a rocky start. But
But by the way,
maybe you can redeem yourself with question 2 here, Christian.
Okay.
So question 2, we've got: in what sport can you get an offsides penalty? Either A, tennis, B, basketball, C, football, or D, baseball.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I know it's not tennis because I know tennis.
You are a tennis boy.
It's not baseball because there's not sides. It's just like one
Okay.
big thing.
Sure. Like your logic.
I think. See, I'm probably gonna go football because I played NFL Blitz 2000 and I remember this clear, like sound clip from it where the ref just goes offsides and that's it.
I'm going to go ahead and spoil. I'm not going to say whether you're the right or wrong. I'm going to go ahead and spoil and say in NFL Blitz, it is impossible to get a single goal penalty.
A what?
It's impossible to get any penalties in NFL Blitz.
Yeah, you light on fire and you can kill people essentially, but yeah, I mean, shit. I mean, it could be basketball too because there's sides on that one. I'm gonna go football though. That just seem right to me.
and just like that, Christian has redeemed himself slightly.
Yeah.
Parker, I'd like to say
You
real
did
quick.
get that one right.
We're doing this on Skype to have the questions here. On the auto answers, because I guess Skype is smart enough to put some auto answers, apparently my answers are defense, swimming, and dance. So all 3 known for their offsides.
Defense. I mean, defense isn't technically incorrect.
I mean, they're,
All right, Christian. This one could have very easily. I think this one might be one that you don't even have to think about
Okay.
because I didn't know what went down yesterday. I didn't know about this warm-up test that Jake gave you while I was making the questions. The next question is how many NFL
32.
teams are there? There are 32.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't even need to get into it. That's an easy one.
That one I knew without the. Well, here's what I said before.
sure.
I messed up a little bit. I knew the number 32, but then me and Jake tried to have me name as many basketball teams as I know, which I think I got to 4. But I said I knew the Heat, The Cavaliers, the Warriors, and the Raptors, because they
Apparently,
just
you didn't
won.
know the Cavaliers.
No, I knew who the Cavaliers were. I just didn't know what the players' names.
And I'd like, before Christian's exalted to his new position, I would like to say initially he thought there were 64 teams in the NFL.
Yes,
He
but
legitimately doubled the number yesterday.
but then Jake informed me that there was 30 in basketball and 32 in NFL. I knew the number 32 was there somewhere.
There you
but-
go. Well, Christian, you actually, just in passing, said the answer to the next question, which is, who won the NBA Finals last
Oh,
week?
the Toronto Raptors.
Toronto Raptors. I'm happy to hear that you knew that. You do work in a sports bar,
Yep.
so I would have been pretty upset if you didn't know that, to be honest. But
I've had to learn because, as you said, I work in a sports bar, and I don't actually do anything with the TVs or the games. That's the bar side handles that. I work on the arcade games that are it's a barcade.
of course you do.
But there have been many times where a customer has stopped me and asked me to throw on a specific game, to which I have to reply, what sport is that? And in many occasions, people have looked very angrily at me. I think the most notable
What
one...
the fuck are you doing here?
the most notable one is this guy said, "Can you throw on the Bruins game?" I think it was, and I said, "Is that baseball?" And he looked like he was gonna punch me in the face.
Yeah, but he was probably from Boston, which means he's a little
From
bitch
Boston,
boy.
so he's
So
probably an asshole.
that's fine.
Maybe. The other tough one was this woman, and this is how I learned what the Cavaliers were. She asked me to turn on the Cavaliers game, and I said, "What sport is that?" And she turned it to somebody else and asked them to turn on the Cavaliers game. And then the other person said later on that that's basketball. So
To be honest, Christian, that is borderline disrespectful as an American to not know that the Cavaliers are a basketball team.
I know. I'm working on it.
All right, this is where we're going to start to get into some interesting stuff. This is, from here on out, I will be pleasantly surprised if you get any of these correct. I will not judge you harshly for not getting these correct from here on out.
Okay.
We got, which MLB team has won the most World Series? We've got the Red Sox, the Marlins, the Yankees, and the Mets.
Well, I know it's either the Yankees or the Red Sox.
Okay. You don't think it's the Florida Marlins?
Probably not. I didn't know they were from Florida, but as soon as you said Florida Marlins, I knew that was out of the question. I'd assume. I think. I don't know for sure, but I mean...
Could be the Marlins.
I mean, I've never heard of them, and if they're the team that's won the most World Series, I'd probably would have heard of them.
That's solid logic. I'll give you that.
I know the Mets, but no one ever talks about them, to my knowledge, that I've ever heard of. So I'm also going to
Except for
assume...
Jake and I, every time an awkward situation pops up and we say, ooh, how about them Mets, though?
That is true. It's the ultimate icebreaker. I forgot about that.
It is. I wonder why they would be the ultimate icebreaker. Maybe because they win a lot of World Series.
I think I'm going to choose option E and choose one of the suggested chats in Skype here and say the answer is Brett Favre.
The answer is, in fact, Brett Favre.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
surprised it was a trick question. I'm glad you got that.
There you go. Okay.
Don't forget, you do have lifelines.
I do, but here's the thing. I feel like I know it's either the Red Sox or the Yankees, so I don't want to use the 50-50 because my 50-50 might be the Red Sox and the Yankees. I don't want to phone a friend because I'm trying to save that for one where I'm like, it could be a toss-up between any four because I legitimately have no idea. But this is like the Cavalier Warriors thing. It's God, I'm trying to think of who... The team that won most recently was like a team that's never won before, right?
I don't watch
Who did
baseball,
win it
so that's
last year?
gonna go to Jake.
It was like a team that hadn't won in a really
last
long
year
time. Or
I think
something.
you're thinking of the Cubs.
last-
That
Yeah.
was a couple of years
Last
ago.
year the Astros won.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the Cubs won a couple years ago.
Okay.
And it was like a 104-year dry spell for them.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. I'm gonna go with the Yankees.
Good shit,
I got
Christian.
it?
Good shit.
Little fun fact.
You did get that one.
Nice.
Little fun fact. Here's a little question for you, Parker. Who are the top? I guess what are teams 2 and 3 as far as World Series wins go?
I did, because I looked this one up, not for this, but I actually had to do a sports quiz for work like a month ago, and that's where I got this question, was because I looked it up for that. And I do remember in the fact it was like the Yankees have the most, And second and third place aren't even fucking close. It's like not even like they have like almost double. I'm gonna guess the. I mean I don't. Baseball is the sport I know least about of the main four. I'm gonna say the Red Sox and the Dodgers.
Nope. The Giants and the Cardinals.
The Cardinals. I thought about saying the Cardinals just because I was like, if Jake is bringing this up, there's a good chance St. Louis is going to look good in it.
Yep, absolutely.
Christian, this one, I do not expect you to get correct.
So wait,
we'll see how this
I just want to point this out. I'm tied with your girlfriend for 4 out of 10 with no lifelines used yet. So if I can do one more, I'm officially a better person than her.
True.
True.
But she also didn't have lifeline, so if you get any of these correct with a lifeline, you're cheating in a way that she couldn't.
The only outcome of this test I want is to be able to beat Lauren. So this is.
I also want to point out, you are 4 out of 5 currently, which is what she was at this point in the quiz. This is where she got every single one of these.
Where did she get wrong? Where did she get wrong?
Of the first 4, she got the how many NFL teams are there?
Oh, okay.
One wrong.
Okay.
She got the LeBron James Cavaliers one.
Gotcha.
Because she's a regular person.
Yeah, because
who
she
exists in America.
knows anything about popular culture. But anyway, what's
The most
what's
basic stuff.
what's question 6?
Question 6. What are the 3 positions on the offensive line in football? So, let me text it to you because this one is definitely going to be one that you're going to want to look at the choices for.
Yeah.
We've got the center, the guard, and the lead blocker. We've got the center, the left, and the right. We've got the center, the guard, and the tackle. And we've got the snapper, the inside blocker, and the outside blocker.
I'm going to go C, center guard tackle, because I've never heard of a lead blocker before. I'm pretty sure people don't call their positions left or right. And I'm pretty sure a snapper isn't a part of the offensive line because they're the people that like throw the football backwards. So I'm going cards on the table, option C.
They're the people who do what?
They throw the football back. It's the it's like Zach DeOssie. He's the snapper, right? He's the long snapper.
Okay.
Yeah. So
like a position in football.
Yeah, but he's not O-line, right? Because he just like throws the ball back.
What do you think he does after he throws the ball back?
He just goes home.
Well, that's true, but like, okay, because like I've heard of a center, I've heard of a guard, and I've heard of a tackle.
Okay. Tackle seems inherently defensive, though, doesn't it?
Well, no, you tackle both ways, right?
No, if the offense tackles somebody, it's a penalty.
Oh, but see, I see the word guard, and I think they guard the quarterback. Oh, so hold up. But here's. Because there's guard, there's definitely center. Because I know I've heard of a center before. See, left, right, inside, outside. I've never heard that used before. Like I know positions. I know you got like wide receiver, tight end, kicker. Those kind of dudes.
Yeah, of course.
That doesn't help you much.
No, because those guys are all.
I would like to say, by the way, the fact that you've claimed that you don't know anything about sports, but you know the most obscure position on one of the most random teams, Zach DeOssie, the long snapper for the Giants.
The only reason,
Christian, I think I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna ask you to refrain from saying that. I won't say why. I'm just gonna ask you to refrain from saying that until later in the quiz.
Oh, okay. About how I came about long snappers? Is that what you want me to refrain from saying?
There may or may not be a question later in this quiz about long snappers.
Oh, okay. I got you. I feel like I'm gonna get 5 out of 10. Okay, let me get. This is question number 6, right? Or is this 5?
Yes.
This is question number
6. Okay. Okay, so now that you said that, I feel like I'm pretty confident I'm gonna get the long snapper quiz question right because that's my niche. So I have 3 lifelines. I'm gonna use. Let me get a vague hint for this one.
A vague hint?
Yeah.
Okay. A vague hint.
Did you not think of the hints before this?
I did not think of the hints before. I made this on my lunch break today. my vague hint will be. Fuck, Jake. Do you have anything for a vague hint on this one?
No. I mean, you were the one who came up with the fucking quiz.
All right, I'll
See, in my head, the vague hint was gonna be like
I'll
on questions where it was easier to be vague.
I'll switch because I could tell where this one would be hard for a vague hint. Jake, I'm gonna phone you in. I need some help with this one.
Okay. Jake's got it.
It's C.
It's C. Ah, I knew I should have just gone with my guts. Yeah.
I led you astray. I purposely
That feels
was
a little
misleading
dirty.
you. I saw Jake looking exasperated when I went. Tackle sounds inherently defensive, doesn't it?
Yeah. I should have just gone with my gut because left, right, inside, outside. Those aren't actually positions, are they?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought.
No.
But
There are
out-
positions that have those words in them,
Yeah.
but you know.
not just left or
No.
right or okay.
I will point out, lead blocker, not a position, absolutely a term in football, though.
Okay.
Like someone can be a lead blocker for sure.
And by the way, snapper is a center.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's just another word for it.
If I hadn't gone with C, I would have gone with A. Would have been my next guess because
A was the one that I thought might get you because I was like lead blocker sounds like it would be. Like I could see that being a thing.
okay.
Well,
hey,
next up
hey,
we got a baseball question.
You know what? I'm still gonna count that as me beating Lauren because that was see I instantly went to that one. Like that was
But
my
you didn't finalize on it.
You did.
I got that's like 4.5 points right there. And then the full 5.
All
with
it
the,
took was a little bit of me firm grasping your balls, and you were out on that.
But
one.
did the guy on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire grasply firm any balls? That is my question for you.
Regis did get a little aggressive at times.
Maybe I haven't watched Who Wants to
There
Be a
was
Millionaire.
that. There was that one episode where he bitch slapped one of the contestants.
Just started punching him to death.
So, up next, we've got how many foul balls must you hit before you are considered struck out? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
This is baseball, right?
This is baseball.
That's not a 0 or I mean infinite, right? Yeah. How many foul balls? It's none. None of the above.
None of the above. Final answer.
Well, baseball, right? You said baseball?
Baseball.
Yeah.
Absolutely baseball.
Yeah, because you get 3 strikes and you're out, but you can hit as many foul balls as you want. So, this is a
Jake, what's the ruling on this?
this
one?
is a rigged question, isn't it?
Christian's absolutely right.
Christian is technically right. In the major leagues, you can foul out.
No, you can't.
Yeah, you can.
No, you cannot. If you pop a foul in the air and somebody catches it, you're out. You can stand there all day hitting foul balls, and you will not be out.
That's not true.
Parker, I think you need to accept the fact that I just
Yeah.
beat you at your own quiz. Because I know this one. The answer is
I'm
or
again.
infinite.
You've admitted many times that baseball is the sport you know the least about, and
I literally okay. Here's the thing. One second. I'm very confused.
Parker sweat.
No, I mean
You're
I'm
right,
I
Christian.
googled it and it's wrong. But here's the thing. I thought once you hit 4 foul balls, you were considered out.
if you get 4 balls, like if the pitcher throws 4 balls to you,
Yeah.
Google fucked me. Google fucked me. Because when I was making the quiz for work last month, this was one of the questions had to do with foul balls. So I typed in how many foul balls to be out, and it said 4. I'm now re-looking through my Google searches, and it says 3 strikes or 4 balls, and the pitch is out.
can you imagine on The
So-
Real Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? It just asks a question, and the
Me
guess is
just
like,
being wrong.
no, I'm just blatantly sure that all 4 of these are wrong, and we're just going, you're right. Okay, so anyway, question 7.
So here's the million.
Christian, I mean, by my math, the fact that you went off the books for that is infinitely impressive. So
Yeah, kudos to you on that one.
I think that gives me
it does not.
an extra point
It
for
doesn't
the
give you
because
anything.
you and
all it does is make me look like an idiot on the podcast. That's all that does.
in your defense and against you, that was one of the questions we went over yesterday. But you got it right without me saying anything, so I confirmed it last night.
Can I just say, I'm not super stoked on the idea that apparently there was a fake quiz that happened that I didn't get insight on, because now I'm finding out that my questions have been
There's been two
lessened
questions
due to the fact that quizzes have happened.
He knew that last night. He knew that it was unlimited.
But I'm saying
The NFL
you
one.
mentioned foul balls. You mentioned how many NFL teams there are. You've mentioned how many
I'll tell you
basketball.
what,
I just feel like I've been cheated. I was asked to make a quiz, and I wasn't even let in on the insight that a fake quiz was a practice test was happening.
I will say this, Parker. The NFL one, Jake did not ask me a question. I said to Jake, I bet you I can name all the NFL teams. And Jake said, okay, try it. So,
And I'm finding out that you thought that there was 64 NFL teams.
Well, I mean, at that point, Jake's not going to say, yeah, there's 64. That one was all me.
Next up, we have got which NFL quarterback has thrown for the most amount of yards in their career?
Oh, I know this one.
Do you?
Yeah, let me see the options because I need to see.
We've got
it's
Tom Brady,
it's Tom Brady,
Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and Walter Payton.
Tom Brady's the Patriots, right?
Tom Brady is the Patriots.
Yeah, it's him.
It's him?
Yeah,
final answer. It is not
Ah,
him.
shit. Really? Damn it.
In fact, it would. Actually, I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, because you can still go. I forgot we were doing that. Yeah, that's technically too wrong for you, Christian.
Oh, man.
So you now have 3 answers left. You have Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and Walter Payton. Which NFL quarterback has thrown for the... First of all, just as a quick aside, just because I think this will be fun, which teams did these 3 quarterbacks play for?
Tom Brady's the Patriots, Drew Brees is the Saints, and then Peyton Manning is either the Giants or the... Because there's 2 Mannings, right? Or no, Eli was
There are 2 Mannings.
Yeah, Eli was the Giants.
Eli was the Giants. Eli was the Giants.
I don't... Peyton was the... was he the Broncos?
He was the Broncos.
He was on the Broncos.
What other team did he start out on?
He was on another team for like 12 years before he went to the Broncos. You have a jersey.
Oh,
for
the
of
Colts
players on this team. The Seaboy.
What jersey is that, Christian?
Pollard? I don't even remember. Is it Pollard?
Yeah, a tight end from like the early 2000s.
Yeah, hey, if anybody wants it, $3,000 or best offer.
What team was Walter Payton the quarterback for?
That
again?
one I've never even heard of that person before.
Okay. Just guess a team. If you had to guess a team.
The 49ers.
Cool. Okay. So which one of these quarterbacks has thrown for the most yards?
What did Tom Brady do that was a big deal? Because I remember recently he broke some kind
I don't
of
know.
record.
Is like 7 Super Bowls?
He's tied for the most Super Bowls of any player. He's easily considered the best quarterback of any of all time.
Gotcha.
He's won the most playoff games. I think he's up there for like most regular season games, or he's getting close. He's got a lot of records. He does not have the most yards though.
Well, shit. Okay. I don't think it's Walter Payton because once again I've never heard of that person.
And as we know, if you haven't heard of them, they must not have ever done anything.
Well, that's no, that's not true. But I've heard of Peyton Manning and Drew Brees before, so I'm assuming it's one of those.
They're also
guys.
more current.
Huh?
They're also more current, which is why you've heard of them.
Yeah. Let me get the hint on this one, the vague hint, because I think it could be either Peyton Manning or Drew Brees.
The vague hint is that
I've got one for.
See, this one's not.
I've got one if you need it. A friend of ours from high school was a big fan of this team.
Oh, it's Drew Brees.
Now, my vague hint was going to be this is the only person still currently playing football.
I would have known it was Drew Brees, too, because I know he's still playing, too. Yes, okay, Drew Brees, final answer. Dun, dun, dun.
That is correct. Fun fact, Walter Payton was a running back, not a quarterback.
That's why I've never heard of him.
Is that how you spell his first name?
Yep.
Walter. Okay.
I think so. Could be wrong. You know, I didn't know how many foul balls it took to be out in baseball, so I could be wrong about a lot of things on this quiz.
That's true.
This one, I feel like you might be able to get just based off of like instinct.
Okay.
But we've got which league was created first of the big 4 in American sports? Baseball, basketball, football, hockey.
God, I have no clue.
Okay. Jake, do you know this one?
Okay.
Yeah, I think I do.
I have an idea. and it's going to be based off of something that you said before, where you said, because I know baseball had like Babe Ruth and stuff, and he's pretty old.
Yeah. He was in the 30s.
Yeah. NFL's on their like, they just hit Super Bowl like 40 or something.
Nope,
or 50.
They're definitely past that.
50, I think.
Past that.
It's definitely not 80. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Basketball, I've never heard of a single person before Michael Jordan,
You actually have.
Wilt Chamberlain, or Larry Bird.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan played basketball in the 2000s.
No, he played in the 90s.
Yeah,
He was famous in the 90s. He played into the 2000s.
please.
You're right. The league was started in 2002.
Yeah. He won in 96. The best team of all time was the Bulls. So the league probably started in like 95.
What question is this? 8?
This is 9.
This is 9?
This is 9.
Okay. The next one is the snapper question. If what you said holds true, which I feel good about. So I'm going to use my 50-50 on this one.
Okay. I am going to do a random number generator
Okay.
to figure out which 2 you're going to lose. So give me one moment while I pull that up.
I'm like 90% sure it's baseball, but...
This is the first one I've been unsure of.
Well, okay, so it doesn't say how long is the sport bit wrong. It says which... Okay, so it says when does the league created.
Yeah, it's just based on the league.
Yeah, so that I generally have absolutely no idea. I'm guessing that baseball is the oldest of the sports. But as far as like leagues, that's a complete toss-up.
We are going to get rid of... Let's see, where are my... Okay. We are going to get rid of NBA and NFL.
Okay, I'm gonna go baseball
So
then.
it's between baseball and
I
hockey?
feel like this might be the stupidest thing I've ever said, but I feel like hockey's a fairly new sport. Is that correct? Like,
Nope.
Okay, never mind. But yeah, I'll go baseball.
It is baseball.
Oh yeah,
Baseball was founded in 1869.
yeah, that's pretty old.
The reason I said nope so quickly, NHL was actually second.
Oh,
with,
really?
1917.
I thought it might have been the NHL. Yeah, hockey's old as shit.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
NFL started in 1921, and like pre-merger, like the NFL as a pre-merger league started in 1921, and the NBA was like 1956 or something like that. So the NBA is actually the newest.
Okay.
And then this one's obscure as fuck. So don't feel bad if you don't get this one. This one I expect most people who listen to this aren't going to know the answer to. This question is, who was the first and only father-son duo to win Super Bowls with the same franchise? We've got Zach and Steve DeOssie. We've got Archie and Peyton Manning, Oliver and Andrew Luck, or Howie and Chris Long. Keep in mind you're out of lifelines. This is all based on your knowledge.
So let me preface this with a story. Back in the day, I felt a bit left out from the whole sports thing because all my friends are decently into sports, or most of my friends, not all of them. So I figured...
Brennan, David, and Gage could not care less about sports.
Well, I mean, but then there's you, Parker, and Vince, and then, yeah, I mean, it's 50-50. You guys talk about sports a lot sometimes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I figured I was going to go out and learn the most obscure possible facts about sports possible.
Well, no, what started it was you said to Jake and I, which player gets the least amount of screen time on an NFL team?
Yeah.
And we said probably the long snapper because they only come out when punts are happening or field goals are happening. And when both of those things are happening, the cameras are all focused on the kicker. So no one ever focuses on the long snapper 10 yards in front of him.
That immediately piqued my interest, and I fell in love with the long snapper position. I then joined r/long snappers on Reddit, which I believe has a booming 30 people community going strong.
Little fun fact. There are more actual long snappers in the NFL than there are in that community apparently on Reddit.
Let's see. I'm going on it right now. Let's look at r/long.
You also
26 people. The most recent post was 2 years ago.
Nice.
So
You also are leaving out the part where the reason you found Zach DeOssie is you took a which NFL team should you be a fan of quiz on Google.
yeah, and I landed with
And
the
landed on
Giants.
the New York Giants.
Yep. So I said my new favorite player is going to be Mr. Diassi, Zach from the New York Giants. And that's when we found out that Zach and Steve Diassi were the first and only father-son duo to win Super Bowls with the same franchise. Final answer.
Want to learn something else fun about Mr. DeOssie? Mm-hmm. He is the only long snapper to appear in Madden.
And didn't he do something with the Pro Bowl where he was like the only long snapper to appear in 2 like Pro Bowls or something like that? Or
No, I think it was something like he's got like the most Pro Bowls or something like that for a long snapper.
so to all my
Yeah, turns out our bit turned out to be like one of the great quote unquote great long snappers of all time.
just complete luck that I landed upon Mr. Zach DeOssie, who is the best long snapper to ever live.
Any other team and their Wikipedia page, if it existed at all, would have been like, he was the long snapper from 2008 to 2011 for the New Orleans Saints. And we would have been like, oh, okay, it's a funny name. And moved on with our day.
So, A is the final answer for sure.
Christian, as the quiz was going, I realized I probably could have made certain points more difficult than I did. You got 8 out of 10, which it honestly kind of defeats our whole premise of Christian knows nothing about sports.
Hang on. There's 2 sleeper questions here. Because you said that you didn't like the fact that I quizzed him yesterday, and there were 2 repeats, I went ahead and came up with 2 questions of my own here.
Okay.
Out of all 4 leagues discussed, which of the leagues has the most games played in a season? The NHL, the NBA, the MLB, or the NFL?
The most games in a season, so like first football game to like Super Bowl is like a season.
Yeah, and we're gonna say from the point of view of one team. So in which league does a single team play the most games?
I think I know the answer. But,
No lifelines.
Cause so when I went to go see my parents or my dad and my brother are big Cincinnati Red fans, so when we went to see the baseball game, I saw it and I was like, oh, so the Reds won, and then they were like, no, that was like the first game in like the series against this other team. Mm-hmm. So I know that hockey, basketball, and baseball play series.
All do series.
Yeah.
That's just in the playoffs, I will point out. That's not like in the regular season, you just play a team and you win or lose.
Gotcha.
Just goes on your record.
Not necessarily.
Wait.
In baseball, there are series.
Well,
you play the same team multiple times, but it's not like
it's
you
called
play
a series.
like 5
Yeah.
back-to-back games.
But you do.
Oh, do you?
Yep.
Baseball's fucking stupid. I hate baseball
Stop
so
it.
much.
Stop it.
Based off my previous knowledge, I'm not gonna go with the NFL because I know they don't have series.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go with the basketball because they have only 30 teams. So I think they have less teams than the other one. I don't know for sure. I don't know how many.
Play devil's advocate. You've gotten rid of you've gotten rid of the league that has the most teams.
Is that NFL?
It is.
Has the most teams? Oh, jeez. See, that's the problem. I can only name like.
Doesn't baseball have the same amount of teams, or NHL?
Baseball. NHL has, I think, 31. Christian, I'm saying from the point of view of one team, because every team plays the same number in each sport. Like so, every team plays the same as every other team in the same sport.
Yeah,
it's from the point of view of one team which plays the most.
Gotcha. I'm gonna go with, cause I don't know if hockey does series outside of the playoffs. I don't think they do, but I don't know for sure. But I know baseball does, so I'm gonna go with baseball. It
is baseball with 162 games.
Jeez, per team.
The part of the reason I don't like watching baseball because I just don't enjoy watching it. A big reason why I don't like it is because it is fucking never the off season in baseball. That season is so fucking long. If you turn on any sports show, they're talking about baseball because it's always just playing.
Huh.
You're fine.
NBA though, Christian does have 84 regular season games before they go into the playoffs where they do series. So basketball has a fuck ton of games.
Okay.
NHL has 82.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Parker,
Wow.
for
NFL has 16.
Parker, for football being our favorite, we're really getting shortchanged.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, Christian,
I mean, to their credit, most players are like on the verge of death by the end of an NFL season, so they can't really extend it.
Christian,
Yeah.
which of the 4 leagues is the only league that does not have a Canadian team?
Well, okay. It's the NFL because hockey is like all Canada, and then NBA has the Raptors and they just won and they're from Toronto. And then I named all the NFL teams yesterday, and there's no Canada ones.
It is the NFL, but who for the MLB? Who is the MLB?
No idea. I couldn't. The only baseball teams I could name yesterday when we did were the Red Sox and the Yankees. I don't think I could name a single other baseball team.
You named the Cardinals.
The Cardinals and the Reds because I'd seen them live.
It is the Toronto Blue Jays. Up until a few years ago, there was also the Montreal Expos, but they became the Washington Nationals.
Okay. I think I've heard of the Blue Jays before, but I would have never guessed that in a million years.
Well, Christian, I will say, you did a pretty good job. I mean, I feel like some of the questions were pretty easy, but I'm impressed with how you did.
Thanks.
It seems you have it's not that you don't have a knowledge of sports. It seems you don't have a knowledge of what's happening in sports. You don't know players. You don't know who's doing well. You don't know what teams are playing. But you more or less understand, like, baseball's a long season. They play a lot of series. It's a very old sport.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL is, like, very specific teams. There's not a whole lot of teams outside of America. There's, how many teams are in the league vaguely, like, it seems you just don't know players and like what teams they're on and what the teams are doing.
Yeah, if this quiz had,
you just don't keep up with.
No, if this quiz had, like I said, a single date, like who won this year, or
To your credit, with the exception of maybe a couple years, I wouldn't be able to name even like Super Bowl wins, and I watch every Super Bowl. I could tell you who played and who won those games, but like if you said like who won the 2011 Super Bowl, like I don't fucking know.
Do you know who was in the first Super Bowl, Parker?
It was the Green Bay Packers and the. It was someone weird.
There's a good chance they may be in it next year.
I'm assuming the Packers won because that was the one you named right away, right?
The Packers did win the first Super Bowl.
Cool.
It was someone weird. It was like the fucking. I was gonna say the Lions, but you said it could be someone in the Super Bowl.
Oh, that's both enough. See, anyway.
Oh yeah, because this was right after the merger. Yeah, this was when the Super Bowl started. So it would have been. I don't remember. Who was it?
The first Super Bowl was against the. I'm just checking myself here to make sure I don't sound like a fool and say that.
As you Google it.
Yep. By the way, first Super Bowl ended 7-0, but it was. No, I'm sorry. It was 35-10. It was the Green Bay Packers versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
The Chiefs. That's yeah. Because I remember I saw that and I was like, huh. All right.
Yep.
Cool.
So, good job, Christian. I'm impressed. I'd like to revisit this sometime. Maybe whenever, maybe when football season's going on, because Parker and I are big foosball fans, going back to it, and maybe dabbling in the paint there a little bit.
Yeah, I think I could go for maybe a round 2 with maybe a little harder questions.
We could do a once football season starts, we could do like a football specific Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And we'll see who
wants to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Who wants to go to Canton?
I'm about it.
All right. So earlier before we got on our Sports Wants to Be a Millionaire, we were talking about X-Men and the fact that X3 not a great movie. I'm gonna go ahead and say it though. I like X3. I think it's a fun enough ride. It's a good roller coaster. Yep. So the reason I bring this up is this brings me up to my topic. So today I was driving home from work and I had some Spotify on. It was on my 90s playlist that was just on shuffle mode. And a certain little song came on and it got me thinking. That song, of course, being Summer Girls by Light Funky Ones, which,
Wow.
if you don't know that song, some of the lyrics include, "You like Fun Dip and Cherry Coke. I like the way you laugh when I tell a joke." And then, of course, "There was a famous man named Paul Revere. I feel much better, baby, when you're here." So basically, this song, it's
Shakespeare.
It's an anthem. I mean, Shakespeare, I think, actually is mentioned in that song. I'm pretty sure.
Jake, I believe you meant to say it's a bop.
It is a bop. Oh no, I mean it is.
Yeah.
It's an absolute bop.
It's a grade A bop.
But I love that song. At the same time, I acknowledge that the song is lacking in quality. So with that in mind, I was thinking, there's a bunch of stuff I like that is bad, or most people would think is bad, but that's okay because I'm a free man and I'm an individual and I have different tastes than everyone else. So Christian and Park, if we can have a moment of honesty, what are some movies, TV shows, games, music, anything that even you acknowledge are bad, like you know that they're terrible, but you're still a big fan of?
Well, I feel we need to get the low-hanging fruit out of here right away. We as a group, I'm becoming aware less and less of a we as a group thing. I've noticed. The Room, where we can go ahead and just knock that one out real quick. All massive fans of The Room. We've watched it plenty of times together with many a laugh on each subsequent viewing. I feel like The Room is all of us can agree, shit movie, but goddamn is that movie a classic.
Yeah, I was gonna go for a different one for a movie.
What were you gonna go movie wise?
I was probably gonna go with.
Well, you're like the king of this. Like, you are the king of, I don't give a fuck what anyone else thinks. If I like a movie or a song or a game, like, you can go fuck yourself. It's great. Your favorite Star Wars is Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones is great.
Favorite MCU movie is Avengers 2, and you will be damned if anyone tells you otherwise.
Okay, here's the thing with the Avengers 2. I'm glad you specified that. Most people would agree that that's a good movie. Like, it's at least
I love that.
It's at least an okay movie. I'm talking like The Room's a great example. Terrible.
Of like, it's actually bad. Yeah.
I was gonna go ahead and say Hackers.
I haven't seen this movie, but I have heard quite a bit about this movie, Hackers.
Okay, so basically what it is there is a group of hackers, unsurprisingly, and essentially what happens is this evil hacker releases a virus onto an oil rig and basically holds the oil rig hostage and demands X amount of money or he's going to release some virus. It's something along the lines of that. The reason I love it is the way that they think they're being, like, the movie was filmed in the mid-90s. It has, I want to say it's Angelina Jolie in it. But this was pre her being famous pretty much. At one point, to show how cool these people are, they go to a rollerblade arcade. And at one point, for the guy to impress the girl, he beats her essentially in Galaga. It is an absolute gem of a movie. Oh, and by the way, we had back when we all were in high school, there was a rumor that there was a pool on the roof, of which there was no such thing. I'm pretty sure that's where that came from, because that is a thing in the movie. There's a joke that there's a pool on the roof, but there's nary.
But there's no pool on the roof.
There's no pool on the roof.
I like that. I like that. A lot of mine are, they're things that are like clearly designed for kids. And so you could argue that they're not inherently bad because they do a fine job of being designed for children. I just liked them at a much later point in my life than the target demo would be, I suppose. Like, I, through high school, unironically, really liked the Hannah Montana movie soundtrack, and would listen to it, like, not regularly to the sense of, like, every day, but, like, I unironically, as a junior in high school, was, like, playing in my car the Hannah Montana movie soundtrack and singing along and enjoying it.
Parker, we saw Big Time Rush live when we were 18.
We did see BTR live.
And I had a good time, and have listened to their music on occasion. I was singing a BTR song to myself the other day on the ride to work, and
that was a great show. It was
a good time. And same with like old school Jonas Brothers. Like once in a while, I still like I've been to the year 3000.
The Jonas Brothers are another one that they actually have some good songs. A lot of the like Camp Rock, which I rewatched, and
how'd it hold up?
It holds up in the sense that I was watching it and I was still like, fuck yeah, this movie is great.
So apparently it holds up pretty well.
But boy, is it not. I saw through the veil, and I was like, I was like, all right, I see what we're doing here. I mean, an obvious one that we just got into an argument about, Dark Phoenix. Here's what I think. Let me go on my Dark Phoenix rant. I need to get this off my chest. I have no attachment to the X-Men as a franchise. I have a coworker who the X-Men are it is his favorite thing in media, or the X-Men comics. And Jean Grey specifically is his favorite X-Men. So he was very personally attached to this movie, and so therefore did not like it. I don't have that attachment, so I can't speak to the comic versus the movie side of this. But what I can say is that I think with the X-Men, because so many of their movies are bad, people are just ready. If it's not a great X-Men movie, it's like, all right, well, fuck that movie. It's just another one of the shit X-Men movies. In a way that, like, the MCU, which has a very good track record, they don't give that same thing to. If it's a bad MCU movie or just like an average MCU movie, they're like, well, no, it's still great. Like, how many times have we as a group been like, even the bottom tier MCU movies are still good movies that we enjoy? Like, I would absolutely say Dark Phoenix is on par with the Captain America ones, the Thors, the Incredible Hulk ones, the Iron Man 2s.
Can I say one thing that Dark Phoenix has going for it?
What's that?
Sophie Turner is mood.
She is mood. She is Bay Af. She is Queen. Oh my gosh, Queen Sophie is Bay and mood as fuck. If we're being honest.
Okay, let me ask you this real quick, because your squeeze is a big Sophie Turner fan.
She's a Yas Queen Sophie.
I don't know if I understand it, and the reason being, I mean, I'm not on any type of social media here. But the only thing I know her from is Game of Thrones and being Jean Grey. Did she do something or like post something on social media that I don't know about that like has made this a renaissance of Sophie Turner?
Well, there's a couple things she's got going for her. One is she's an attractive girl that is in a very pop culture
I'll
thing,
say it, she's okay.
But I'm saying, regardless of your personal taste, she's an attractive girl who, like, as like a 15 to 20-year-old girl who are like very much in that pop culture, like, things are iconic phase. Like, those are the boxes you're checking. Are they in pop culture? Or are they attractive? She just got married to Joe Jonas, who is also very much so there's like a young teen heartthrob power couple thing going on. And she was, the thing about her in Game of Thrones is she is like, her and Daenerys both are like the epitome of the like empowered female characters, where she's like a boss ass bitch is like her character. So like any like teen girl is gonna be like, yeah, my favorite character is Sansa because she's a boss ass bitch.
I'll go ahead and say, out of all of Game of Thrones, and I know we're jumping around topics here like no one's business, I'm gonna go ahead and say, out of all Game of Thrones female characters, I would say Brienne's probably the best.
But even that is like, she's strong because she kicks ass. Like she's not unintelligent, but she doesn't even like try to like play to the intelligent side. She's just like honorable and like physically strong. The argument for like Sansa is that like she doesn't have to fight. She's like intellectually on everyone else's level.
Okay.
Is like why people. I mean, I'm not saying. I mean, we all know our own personal feelings on Sansa as a character.
I hate her.
But Lauren is very much in kind of a way that a lot of girls I feel like are or like she like is very like attached to Sophie Turner as an actress, so it doesn't matter if her portrayal of Jean Grey is Oscar nomination worthy or not. It's just like, oh, Jean Grey is being a boss ass bitch, and that's Sophie Turner, so yas, Queen Sophie.
I have a Christian. You care if I spoil something about Dark Phoenix?
Oh no, I could care less.
Have you seen Dark Phoenix?
No, but spoiler alert if you don't want to hear a spoiler on Dark Phoenix. I heard J-Law gets killed off.
She does.
That's
which
surprising.
when it happened, I was like, there you go, J-Law, you finally got out of these fucking movies. I hope you're happy.
Here's the thing. Mystique is in no way, shape, or form a major character. Like, she's definitely there, and I mean, she's a noteworthy character, but the way these movies were shaping up, it's like, no, the order goes Wolverine, Charles, Magneto, then Mystique, when it's like, well, no. So,
Mystique is very much a, like, D-list character, in my opinion.
Cyclops is supposed to be, like, the leader and shit, right?
D-list is that's a little rough. I would say C+.
C+, maybe B-.
C+. It's a C+.
She's definitely, when I think of the X-Men, she's not one of the first, like, 25 that pop into my mind. Like,
25?
I mean, how are you gonna, I mean, honestly, 1 through 25 could probably be Omega Red, but, you know.
What?
Omega Red is basically Doc Ock, but he's Russian, and I don't remember what it's called. He's got the opposite of adamantium. It's like a poison version. But anyway, no, I mean, I was surprised that they killed her off, but I don't know what other... I don't like Mystique, or I don't like specifically Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique, but I feel like it was doing a lot of people some favors. It did her a favor because she didn't have to be in the movies anymore, and it did us a favor because we don't have to see her in the movies anymore.
Well, there aren't going to be any more movies. I'm pretty sure
I thought
they're
they
not
were releasing one
cast.
more.
No, this was it. The advertising for Dark Phoenix was the last movie in the X-Men saga or franchise. Yeah, this is it.
It does end with like Professor X is retired, and him and Magneto are like hanging out, and they're like old chums at this point or whatever.
There's no way they would have ever been able to do it, but if they could have somehow connected this movie to X-Men from like 2000, that would have been pretty cool. But the universe is like a spider web at this point. It's so convoluted that there's no way.
Yeah,
I will say my favorite part of the movie was Nightcrawler. I don't know.
Nightcrawler's sweet.
He's awesome.
I haven't seen a ton of the X-Men movies. I've missed a bunch of them, but like, not even like necessarily like him as a character doing anything specific. Just like the way they do his teleporting is like really fucking cool. How he like turns to smoke or whatever, and like they have like a cool sound effect, and he's just like somewhere else, and like there's like a scene where he's like teleporting around this woman with a knife and just stabbing her over and over in various parts of her body and I was like, that's fucking
If you like Nightcrawler, do yourself a favor and watch the opening scene from X2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really cool sequence.
I'll check it out.
He's a good character. But
going back to original topic, any other things not that you know are trash but you're a fan of?
What have you got, Chris?
I have a couple. I wouldn't say that they're trash, but from a musical standpoint, I went through a really big Die Antwoord phase, and I still have their CDs in my car. That was the first thing that popped up into my head. I do enjoy their music.
The only song I know by them is I
Think You.
Yeah. And I've seen the music video. It made me uncomfortable. Like, there was something going on there that I wasn't a big fan of.
They're very much like we're trying to be weird for weird's sake.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's authentic or not. It seems like it probably
Seemed weird
is.
as fuck to me.
But like, it seems like they're like, we are purposely trying to go as fucking weird as we possibly can with this.
Yeah, and I think that's why I like them, is because it was so different, and I'd never heard anything like it before that I was immediately drawn to it. So I bought a couple of their CDs, and I don't listen to them anymore, but I went through a good couple month phase where it's almost all I listen to. That's musically the only thing I can really think of. As far as video games go, an unpopular opinion I have is that I think Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6 are better than the first three. and I think a lot of people do not agree with that. Not maybe for's sake, but I like 6 a lot more than I think most people do. Like, most people hate 6 a lot. I think 6 is just as enjoyable as any of the other Resident Evil games I've played.
Let me go ahead and throw a counterpoint here, and I think it's going to draw a little bit of ire from you, Christian. I'm going to go ahead and say Dynasty Warriors 4.
As something that people don't like?
Something that's not very good quality, but we still enjoy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we bonded over that game. That's how we met. Dynasty Warriors in general is not a very good franchise. It's the same game copy and pasted over and over like 9 times now, and they're pretty terrible. But it's like it's like the Madden of fighting games.
I was just about to say, let me put this. Well, it's not even fighting. Let me put this in their perspective, Parker. The only games that might surpass the Dynasty Warriors games as far as copy and paste goes is like Madden and sports games in general. The only thing the sports games have is they have an ever-expanding like roster. Since these games are basically, they take place during like ancient China. And it's over like whenever China had a bunch of kingdoms and whatnot. And it's basically a hack and slash. The issue with it is, it's based off of a book in a historical period. So they only have a limited range of people you can that you can select from. They've, no joke, made the same game with the same characters in the same battles about 9 different times now.
Yeah.
And I love them. Like, I absolutely love the games. I mean, I recognize that at the end of the day, I'm running into a crowd of people and mashing square or X. I think they're a great time, though.
They look... I mean, I've only ever seen... I've never played one of them, but I've seen gameplay. They look fun as fuck. And I've never played it, but, like, there's a Legend of Zelda game called Hyrule Warrior.
That's true.
Which is, like, the same game. Mm-hmm. And, that's also like a game that I've been wanting to play one of these types of games for quite a while.
If you want to play them,
they look interesting.
Play Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires. The best one by far is 4, but you can't get 4 unless you have like a PS2 or something. So play 8 Empires. It's a pretty good one.
Yeah. I think the main appeal behind those games is just like the body count that you can rack up. Like just being able to finish like a scenario and you're like, I killed 1,500 soldiers on that. Like,
no.
Pretty cool.
You don't kill anyone. You knock them out.
Oh yeah, well
they are called KOs.
You kill them at the end of the campaign. You kill the commanders at the very end, but yeah, most of the time they run away or do a tactical retreat after you've stabbed them 50 times in the face with a spear.
Let me ask Christian, who's your favorite Dynasty Warriors character?
Oh man, Pang Tong.
Is that for real?
Yeah, but I mean, okay. He's an old, decrepit man with the staff, but he looks like Yoda. He's the Yoda of the ancient Chinese dynasty.
I was half expecting Hayashi C, but...
Best name, not the best character.
All right. So what about as far as movies go? Anything from you?
I mean, The Happening is another one of those The Room movies where I feel like people have caught on to it a lot, and I've talked to a lot of people about that movie. But I mean, it is legitimately one of the worst movies I've ever seen, but it's also one of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
You know, it was a real bad movie that I didn't enjoy was House of the Dead.
Is that the one on the island with the concert?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mm-hmm. That one was enjoyable because it was bad, but then it got to the fight sequence where it was just 20 minutes of reused shots.
It lasts like 45 minutes.
Yeah, it was just the same like handful of reused shots over and over again from different angles, and it lasted an insane. That's when it lost me. I was just like, all right, what are we doing here? They just threw it in there to make it a hour and 30-minute runtime, but yeah.
Jake, I don't remember if you were there or not when we watched this, but I know Christian definitely was. Christian, I don't know if you remember, we went through a phase in high school where we purposefully tried to find the worst movies we could possibly find and watch them together.
Yeah.
And we found this beautiful art piece, beautifully titled "Surfer Nazis Must Die." Yeah. Do you remember this? Man?
I was there for that.
That was on old school Netflix when there was like 3 decent movies and the rest were all like foreign indie films with a $5 budget.
Trash.
Yeah, that was I mean, just the title "Surfer Nazis Must Die" is a pretty good indication of what the film was about. But
just to give you guys a quick synopsis, according to IMDb, this movie's plot is: when the son of a gun-wielding woman is murdered by neo-Nazi surfer punks in a post-apocalyptic future, his mama hunts them down for some bloodthirsty revenge. Half of this movie takes place on either very small boats or on surfboards, where there are just all-out mad gunfights going on. It was made in the 70s, or in the 80s, so even if it had a good budget, it probably wouldn't have looked amazing, and it certainly didn't have a good budget. And it is maybe the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, but the amount of joy that we got out of watching that movie is unparalleled.
Have either of you seen Thanksgiving before or heard of Thanksgiving?
I have seen
Is that the one
Thanksgiving.
with the turkey that comes to life?
Yeah, he comes
Yep.
to life and he like kills people on Thanksgiving, but he like it's not even like that. Like the turkey like speaks and he's just like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you, bitch!" Like he says stuff like that. He sounds like a Scary Terry from Rick and Morty, but it's a turkey that kills people. That was another one. That one was too bad to be enjoyable though.
There's a scene in that movie where a girl is having sex with her boyfriend, and they are in the doggy style position, and the turkey sneaks into the bedroom and kills the boyfriend, pulls him out, starts fucking the girl from behind, finishes, and then is like, "Oh, fuck, that was great, baby." And she's like, "What?" And she turns around, and then it's like, "Ah!" And then he fucking kills her.
So does the girl say anything when the turkey starts fucking her?
I don't remember the scene well enough to remember, but if I'm not mistaken, there is definitely some like, "Oh, fuck, you're getting like real intense all of a sudden." Like that kind of, like, she definitely is responding to him while it's happening.
She didn't make him stop. We'll say that.
She certainly was about
Yeah.
it. In a similar vein to Thanksgiving, there's another movie called Santa's Sled.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen that movie?
Santa in the strip club just like killing strippers. Oh man.
Yeah, basically. That's another one of those were like kind of the big three when we were going on this bad movie adventure. Was Surfer Nazis Must Die, because Thanksgiving also has that scene where like the pilgrims are like the opening scene. There's like the pilgrims, and there's just like woman running from something, and you haven't seen the turkey yet, and like her shirt gets ripped open all of a sudden, and there's just this close up on her tits jiggling, and you're just like, oh, so it's gonna be this kind of movie. So this is what we're watching, I guess.
Man, I can't believe those were on Netflix. Like, thinking about how that's how
I can't
we
believe
found
Netflix
them.
doesn't still put shit like that on it. It bums me out.
I don't know if that's the best business plan at this point. But Netflix is making like trillions of dollars.
Yeah, they're doing all right.
So I've been looking up because I asked about the turkey fucking the girl. I wanted to look up to see the average size of a turkey's penis.
Whoops.
I wasn't able to find anything though. What I was able to find is how turkeys in captivity are breeded. And let's just say this. It's very graphic as to how it goes into detail about how turkeys are artificially inseminated and how it takes only
Oh
about
my God.
4 strokes to get the seed out of a turkey.
So they're 1 pump chumps or 4 pump chumps.
Can you imagine being the guy who has to give hand jobs to turkeys to artificially inseminate other turkeys?
Do you remember that show Dirty Jobs with Mike Rowe?
Yes.
There was one. I mean, usually it was, I'm going to be a sewer inspector today. I'm going to be a slaughterhouse cleaner and all that. Those were all good and fun. There was one once where I guess Mike Rowe felt like his dirty job was going to be collecting male Mustang, like the horse, semen of the horses in captivity. Let's just say 12 to 13-year-old me thought it was the funniest thing ever. Basically, when this horse went up on its back legs and started fucking a rubber tube, and it showed it on TV in great detail. So
Have you ever heard the story of how Fear Factor got canceled?
I have not.
Oh, man, this is a good
That
one.
I mean, naturally, as the show progresses, they have to keep upping the stakes because they can't just keep making you eat cockroaches over and over again. And the second challenge always had to do with like eating something or like laying in a vat of something, like a bunch.
You're
of
gonna lay in a
cockroaches
pit of
falling over or whatever.
cockroaches while you eat cockroaches.
Exactly. they were making the final season. It wasn't the final season at the time, but they were making like what is now the final season. And the second challenge was that they were going to have to drink a decently large cup full of donkey semen.
God
And
damn.
Joe Rogan talks about how he was like, even while we were doing it, I was like, the fuck are we doing, guys? Like, why are we making people do this? What's happening?
That's
How
not
big was
Fear
the-
Factor.
How
at
big
that
was the
point.
cup?
He said it was like a fucking like beer mug sized cup. It was not like a shot glass of
I'll be
donkey
honest. I don't even know if I could have like a paper Dixie cup full of donkey semen for like $1 million.
Yeah.
I'm good on that.
God damn. That's.
I used to like that show. I mean,
I loved Fear
It
Factor.
was-
I used to watch that all the
it
time.
was. I don't remember if because I remember challenges 1 and 3 were physical based challenges. Like you're gonna swim underwater, collect some flags. You're gonna like bungee jump and like
One had a lot to do with like you're gonna jump out of a helicopter into a lake, or you're gonna be on a boat and you're gonna have to jump onto another boat while they're going quick, or you're gonna have to bungee jump off. So, like, and then I feel like 3 was often like a challenge, like you were talking about, like a challenge. Like you're gonna have to swim underwater for 30 seconds and collect as many flags as possible, or like whatever the fuck.
But yeah, it was like those were cool, but then it was like challenge 2 was always like you're gonna be nailed into a coffin full of snakes while we light it on fire and dip you in kerosene. It's like, okay, I mean that's scary, but what are we really accomplishing here? And a lot of times it wasn't even you had to do anything. Like it was you're gonna be handed a ring full of keys while you're hanging by your ankles while rats climb in your clothes. I'm sure that actually was one. It was like, okay, that's not very hard though. Like, yeah, it's gonna suck, but who couldn't do that? Did you guys ever watch the show kind of similar Wipeout?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch it as much as I would have liked to. I caught it late in its running,
Wipeout
and when I
was
started
great.
watching it, I was like, "This is fucking
Wipeout
great."
was great.
But I didn't catch the heyday of Wipeout.
I'll tell you what was great. For a while, the summer Wipeout came out. There was a show that came on before it, and it only had 2 seasons. It was called I Survived a Japanese Game Show.
Oh. Is
That
that
was
the one
one
with the really bad lip syncing and the
No.
Oh.
What this one was, I think it was kind of similar to that. Basically what it was is it was a reality show. And I hate reality TV, but this is the exception. They took these 10 people from Los Angeles, or they flew them out to Los Angeles, and it looked like it was going to be the most generic thing ever. Like the people were told you're going to live in a house, there's going to be like some challenges, you're going to get voted off. They fly them out to Los Angeles, and when they get there, they say, "Funny, you're actually going to Tokyo. Bet you wonder why we made you pack your passports. Here you go." So basically what happens, they go to Tokyo, and the entire game, it lasted several weeks. The entire game is each week they go on like one of those crazy Japanese game shows where you have to like, you know what I'm talking about, where you're like, oh, say you're going to put on a squid hat and you're going to like,
Yeah, they have to do a bunch of weird
yeah, it's
shit.
like you're going to put on a squid hat and you're going to wave your arms like an octopus and like collect eggs or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And if you lost, you were voted off your team. It was like Survivor basically, but a Japanese game show. Again, this goes back to our original topic. It was so bad. I fucking loved it though. It was a classic.
I do think I've seen
Gage
that.
and I, when we were in Chicago, we watched like an entire 3-hour marathon of Catfish,
Oh no.
and it was the same thing where I was like, I can see that this is just like fucking basic ass, like almost
Filth.
scripted to the point of like, yeah, just like reality garbage. We were eating it up while we were watching it. We were so invested
It's
in
so
these
bad.
storylines.
It's so bad. Anything is that on MTV?
Oh yeah,
MTV is. I used to
not a lot of music at this point.
no back when I was in college. Like that was always for some reason when sports weren't on. That was always the go-to channel, and I hated every show on it. Like it was either Catfished or the worst one is Ridiculousness by Rob Dyrdek.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh, that one. Cooper used to watch that, and I can't even say that it's a so bad it's good show. That show is just
Well,
He's
it has.
not funny at all.
I
Like,
hate Rob Dyrdek. I hate Chanel West Coast. I don't remember who any of the other people are on it. It was just like nothing.
I forget his name, but that like black DJ guy.
Stilo Brim.
I actually like. Yeah, I kind of liked him. I thought he was all right, but the other two were so bad that it was like, all right, what are we doing here?
Yeah, it was like Rob Dyrdek is the personification of a man who's like he's like 49. He's still acting like he's 20. It's like, Rob,
Yeah,
what are we doing here? I mean, granted, he's way more wealthy than I'll ever be, so he's got it figured out somehow. But
Robin Big was all right.
was that a show?
His original show back in like the early 2000s was him and his security guard named Big, and that show was all right because that was like more just them doing like fucking weird shit, but they were like rich, so they could like go-karting and like fucking flip their go-karts, and it was fun in the you're 8 years old and it's the early 2000s and people are just doing wild shit on TV fun way. Then he did Ridiculousness, and you were like, all right, dude, we should be doing this comedy thing.
Let me ask you this, Parker. You are obviously a young lovebird celebrating your 1 year anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
By this point, one of the hallmarks of the relationship is your girlfriend probably watches some pretty rough stuff, and since you're dating her, you have to watch it along with her. Yeah. What are some of the little gems that she makes you tag along with?
Well, she has tried desperately to make me watch The Vampire Diaries.
Is that that the one that's like on season like 50? Or is that Supernatural?
Supernatural.
That's Supernatural. It's on season 15. She does watch that, but she's kind of like floated out to me like, you should totally watch this, but she hasn't tried to make me watch it. But yeah, it's on season 15, and it's also because it's the same thing with The Vampire Diaries. It's not that I would inherently be against it, but like both of those shows came out back in like the 2000s when TV was 48-minute episodes, 25 episodes a season. So it's like I'm going to have to dedicate like 200 hours to watching this show. And I don't have time to dedicate 200 hours to watching this show. But The Vampire Diaries is one. She watches, realistically, a lot of what she watches is YouTubers that, like, when, I don't know, you guys probably aren't even remotely in on the YouTube culture and what's happening.
I know a few of the big names, and that's it.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear about the James Charles makeup guy and his drama?
No. I don't even know who James Charles is.
Exactly. Yeah, I get caught. She keeps me informed on the, like, very, like, the quote-unquote, like, YouTube culture and, like, all the, like, drama and beef and stuff that's going on in that. And I end up watching, like, 45-minute videos where they're, like, crying and they're like, I'm gonna give you all the, I'm gonna spill all the tea on these people. This person's gonna be canceled because I have the receipts, which is like if you have screenshots of text conversations, they're apparently called the receipts. And it's just literally just like drama. Here's what happened. I watched 3 videos, each of which were 40 minutes long.
Oh my God.
About this 19-year-old makeup artist named James Charles. He like makes makeup tutorial videos on YouTube or whatever. I don't know. Something to do with makeup. This woman that supposedly got him into the business and got him popular on YouTube asked him to be a sponsor for her like new hair care product. And he was like, I'm good. And then like a week later, I'm probably butchering this story, but this is what I remember. He was advertising another company's hair product. And apparently that was a big fucking deal. Like, literally, I'm not exaggerating. People were, like, freaking the fuck out. Because she posted a whole thing, like, crying on Instagram about how he totally betrayed her. A grown woman, like 35, crying on Instagram about how he totally betrayed her and how they were supposed to be friends and he, like, totally went against, like she can't trust him anymore. And then, like, he was talking about how he was like, no, I was supposed to go to Coachella and I was supposed to have this, like, I was supposed to have tickets. So I had tickets to week 1 of Coachella, but I didn't have tickets to week 2. And so I tried to get week 2 tickets, but I couldn't get them. So, like, the only way I could get them is this company offered to give me tickets to week 2 of Coachella if while I was at Coachella, I, like, said that I was wearing their hair product. So it wasn't a sponsor in the way that I, like, supported them, but I just, like, had to do it to get Coachella tickets.
So, real quick, can I jump in and ask kind of an ignorant question here? Mm-hmm. What exactly is a makeup tutorial?
So, I've seen a couple with Lauren now. Basically, it's not a tutorial in the sense that, I mean, I guess there probably are some, but it's not a tutorial in the sense that they're like, step 1 is you do this. Like, it's literally just videos of, like, they'll show you what kind of makeup they're using. That's a big part of it, is like you knowing what brands are like supposedly good or not or whatever. And then they just like do their makeup on camera, and they'll do like themes where like one girl that she watches did like 4 different videos of her doing her makeup to like the 4 Hogwarts houses and like using their colors as like her makeup palette. And they just like do their makeup, and they're like good at doing makeup, so it like looks extravagant and like someone out of the fucking Hunger Games.
And someone makes their living off of doing their makeup.
The James Charles, the guy who I was talking about in this, he currently has, let's see. He currently has where's his, no, give me his channel. 15.5 million subscribers on YouTube.
I just don't get that. I mean,
just like, I mean, I'm sure he has like random other stuff, like he like probably does like vlogs and shit that I don't know about. But like for the most part, yeah, it's just like him doing his makeup on camera.
I mean, it's just one of those things. It's like, I understand if you're making a video, like a tutorial, like if you're like, hey, here's a really cool way you can put on fucking blush or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe that's still pretty hard pressed to find an audience for that, but
evidently not.
Yeah, apparently not. I guess it's just one of those things you have to be into the scene to get it.
You just got to be a part of it.
I would never watch a video on someone just putting on makeup to like go out and about, but I have watched videos on people who do like movie makeup, like doing the prosthetics and stuff.
That's different.
Yeah, that's
different.
really cool. But yeah, I know what you're talking about, Parker. I actually saw a video today. I don't like actively search it, but yeah, it was the same thing. It was just one of those like time-lapse speed up videos of this girl, and she would hold out blush, put on blush, hold out eyeliner, put on eyeliner, and that was the entire video. Yeah. And
I mean, to their credit, it's one of those like, a lot of girls, like, that's, like, their thing. They, like, really like makeup and getting new makeup and putting on... Like, it's the same argument that, like, my dad would always make of, like, why the fuck are you watching somebody else play a video game right now? And we have the obvious answers of, like, oh, well, they're funny and it's entertaining and they do wacky things in the game. I'm sure people who watch these makeup tutorials have, like, their own set of lists of reasons why they're into it. But as an outsider, yeah, it's like, all right, you're just, like, watching someone put makeup on then, I guess. Like, all right, whatever. But James Charles was canceled, is what I learned.
Over this hair thing?
Was also... Yeah, well, there was also then some, like, weird shit. I don't know how it was, like, attached in any way. But then there was, like, some weird shit coming out about how he's gay and he was trying to, like, convince straight boys to, like, fuck him. And how that was, like, manipulative because he was, like, trying to convince straight people to have sex with him. But then that was where I learned about the term receipts, because he had the receipts of the straight man in question who was actually talking to him about how he was bi, and he was like, see, so it's not. So I guess he got uncanceled, is what I'm learning.
Who
but
canceled
he was originally canceled. The canceled is the term. He lost like 5 million subscribers in like 3 days. And that was like, oh, James Charles canceled.
I don't understand it. Like, I feel like, because there's very few, like, I have a few channels that I subscribe to. Mm-hmm. I feel like that happens all the time where it always comes out, oh, like, who's the big one? Smosh was a popular one.
The Fine Bros had the big thing with the Reacts
Fine Bros
videos.
had a big one.
But what I was going to go more all about is I feel like there's always these things where it's like, I can't remember the channel. It was some big, like, gaming channel where it was like, oh, it turned out that guy was, like, abusing his girlfriends and all this shit. And I feel like that happens, like, all the fucking time. Like, I feel like it's every single week where it's like this one about this James, whatever his name was. It's pretty stupid or whatever, but I feel like it's every single week. It's like another thing. Like, this person was accused of rape. This person was accused of holding someone up at gunpoint. This person embezzled trillions of dollars from the Panamanian government. It's like, are these like not normal people? Like, where do these things ever come up?
I will say this, and this might be totally off, and if, you know, it might be, I don't know. And this is less of, like, the really big things, like, oh, he killed somebody, but I feel like a lot of this, like, beef and a lot of this drama is started intentionally, because
for sure.
Anytime there's anything like this, their channels blow up, and they always say, you know, even bad press is press. You know, people like the whole, I forgot which Paul brother it was, but the whole Japanese forced suicide hanging thing.
Yeah.
he blew up. I think it was Logan Paul, right? I think it was Logan Paul.
It was Logan Paul.
He blew up, and he
Didn't even know
gained
there's more than one.
millions and millions and millions of subscribers off of this terrible thing that he did. But that one was real. But I feel like sometimes people take a very small thing and blow it up.
There's definitely. I mean, Logan Paul has been in. Because I will admit, because I don't keep up with the YouTube channels specifically. My big thing that I like to watch is commentary YouTube channels where they'll just like watch other people's videos and just like make fun of them. And so I'm watching those videos, and so I stay in the loop because of that. And Logan Paul has multiple times had beefs that are like super clearly not real, where they're like just like fucking dumb shit, like him and this guy named Rice Gum who like make diss tracks, who like they were like supposed to hang out, and then like he went over to Rice Gum's house and like his roommates let him in, and it was like a prank that he was gonna steal all of Rice Gum's clothes. But Rice Gum was actually pissed about it. And he was like, dude, what the fuck? He stole all my Gucci and Supreme clothes. What the fuck? I'm pissed. And then they like pretended to get mad about that. Like, there's definitely a whole bunch of YouTubers that like blatantly just like fake beef to try to like get popular.
Yeah, it 100% happens. And the hard thing is you can never really tell anymore what's real and what's not. But I've kind of gotten to the point with all this stuff where I don't even assume it's real anymore. Like,
that is the weird thing about YouTube, is it blurs the line very much of like, especially with like vlog channels and stuff, where it's like, all right, at what point is this like you guys are doing crazy shit because you're on camera, and like at what point is this like you guys are actually just like fucking psychos and shit?
What I'm looking forward to one day is when Irisud gets so big to the fact that there's like I don't know how you say the word, schism, and it's very clear like there's like a huge feud, and like we're barely on speaking terms anymore, but still posting the same channel.
That's what happened to Kind of Funny. Well, they don't post on the same channel, but that's what happened to Kind of Funny.
Is that guy that you liked who went over to politics?
Yeah, he posted a tweet on hashtag a day without a woman where he said, peace and quiet, hashtag a day without a woman. And it like blew up on Twitter, and people were like talking about how it was like super sexist and fucked up of him and shit. And Kind of Funny was like the members of that Kind of Funny were like tweeting about like, we don't agree with this tweet, and like we don't like this and stuff. And he ended up resigning from the company, but like they have been very, for a channel that like prides themselves on like they literally called their fans like best friends, and they're like, the whole premise is that they're all best friends. Like, they haven't said anything about like what happened behind the scenes when this tweet happened, but suddenly he resigns from the company, and he has said, like in an interview like a year after the fact, like, because him and Greg were like kind of the two main guys, and they had been like best friends and roommates for like 10 years, like even prior to Kind of Funny starting. And like a year after the fallout, he was on like a show, and he was like, yeah, I reached out to Greg when I was in San Francisco the other week, and was just like, hey man, like totally off camera, we don't need to make anything, just like kind of want to catch up and hang out and see what's going on. And he basically told me he had no interest in speaking to me. And so like,
Parker, at what point do we get there?
I'm hoping in the next week or so, if we can be honest with each other, before episode 3 for sure.
Okay, well, I think at this point you should know that I stole your car and drove it into a canal.
It's weird because I'm currently looking out the window at my car,
well,
but
I got it out and drove it back.
I also live in Texas, so I don't know where you're finding canals, but okay.
There's a will, there's a way.
He dug
Wherever.
one himself. That's how committed he is to creating beef with you.
Exactly. So we can go ahead and make a quick boy out of this one. We were talking about things that we like that are trash. What about the opposite? Things that we don't like that most people like freak out about.
I feel like I've got way more of these.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Like for one, absolutely, like especially in our group, like video games, I could just go on and on. Like Resident Evil 7 was a blast.
You haven't given much of a shot.
That's true.
I've played 6. I've played, what was the one that we played at your house, Jake? Was that 4 or 5? 4 maybe. We played like multiplayer.
That's got to be 5
together.
I don't remember.
Because only 5 and 6 of multiplayer. So
yeah. I'm just not a big third-person shooter fan. I don't like Gears of War really. Let's see.
It was Game of Thrones for me for a while, but then I fell into the trap of it. And you too, Parker. I mean, neither of us watched
Game of Thrones. I had to watch season 1 of Game of Thrones 4 times.
Same.
Before I got into it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've learned.
It was Lauren being like, "We're watching this show, like whether you like it or not, we're gonna watch this show together." But when I was finally like, "All right," and so we got past the point I had tried multiple times, and then I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm in."
What I've kind of gone through is that I've learned that there are still, I mean, you know, when it comes to games and movies, there's always things you're not gonna like. But as I've gotten older, I've learned to see like, okay, maybe it's not something that I really like, but I can see why people really like it. Because yeah, there are certain games that, you know, I will go on and on with you, Parker, and our buddy Vince about how I think Madden and those kind of games are literally the stupidest thing ever. But if you love football, you know, I can see
that's the
where you
only
like
recourse you have in the game. That's the only football game you can buy.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, to its credit,
that is true.
To its credit. And this is something that I don't bring up when we're talking to Gage a lot, because Gage is the main person in our group on the Madden is stupid and you are stupid if you buy it camp. To his credit, and I don't bring this up to him because it's just giving him ammo. Most people are also mad at Madden because they don't do enough stuff that people are asking them to do to upgrade the game to make it new and inventive and cool.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the only football game that is being made. So it's like, if you don't buy Madden, you just don't get a football game. So it's like, all right, like, I guess we're just going to take whatever they give us every year. And there's always people trying to be like, don't buy Madden this year so that they can like vote with your wallet or whatever. But it's never going to be strong enough of a movement to actually work. So it's like, fuck it. I'm just going to buy the new Madden because like, that's just what everyone does.
You want to play football.
And I get that I'm part of the problem because of that, but like, it's the only football game I'm getting, so I might as well get it.
So, you know, the good thing about you mentioned the fact that they're going to be showing a new Madden. Is E3 was last week, and we got to see, they were going to be showing a lot of new games then. And in episode 1, we talked about games we're looking forward to. And E3's over now, and I think, Christian, your topic was going to be a review of E3, and you know what we were excited for, what maybe we weren't too excited for. And while you're pulling up that list, I just want to say, I don't pat myself on the back very often here. I'm liking these. Okay. One of the things I'm proud of myself on, and I hope I can keep up with these transitions. They're just like,
I'm happy with you liking the transitions because I absolutely would not be able to come up with anything even close to this level of transitioning. So
yeah, me neither. That's why you're the boss, Jake.
Yeah, well, I think we said Supreme Chancellor was the more appropriate term, but
I said EP, but I mean, I guess you can take Supreme Chancellor.
An extended play?
Overlord.
Yeah, you're a short album.
Okay. So, Chris, what do you got for us?
I mean, I feel like
just go through some of the big ones, and we'll all just kind of give our thoughts on it overall, I guess.
Yeah.
Unless you would rather just do your specific things you're excited for, and we can all go around.
Well, that'll be tough because we've talked the past couple days and we've all said, there's not too much coming out that I'm excited for, is what, you know, Jake, Parker, you both said that, Gage said that. And I looked through the list of upcoming games and I kind of realized yesterday I'm pretty excited for absolutely everything coming out. So I feel like I'm definitely the wild card in this, but I plan on buying 80% of games that are coming out in the next 6 months. But I mean,
here's the thing with E3 that I've noticed for me. E3 happens, and I watch a bunch of trailers, and I see a bunch of gameplay, and I get hyped with the E3 press conference, and I get real into it, and I have like a whole list of like everything that I'm excited for. And then a year and a half passes when all those games would actually start coming out. And every year in like the fall, like, you know, the big games coming out this year, like phase of the year, I'm like, there's like maybe 2 games that I'm actually like, and like I can't even remember the games from E3 that I was so excited about seeing the trailers for.
Yeah, I will say, Parker, you're the only person I've ever met. I think you have the biggest problem I've ever seen is I don't remember the last game that you started and then finished. And I think I've never seen anything like it before. There's Resident Evil 7.
I think it was Resident Evil 7. I'm trying to remember if I've beaten anything since then, but I don't think I have. If we can have a real moment of honesty, it's something that I actually like beat myself up about and like really, really don't like that I do. And I am like that's why like I am forcing myself to beat Ghost Recon Wildlands. because I'm like,
Of all the games.
I don't know why. I don't know why that game, like, I just really fucking like that. Like, I like that it's open world. So, like, I was playing by myself. I went to a mission. I was stealthing every mission. And, like, sometimes I'd fuck up and I'd have to go loud, but I was trying to stealth every mission. Christian asked to join, and we still were stealthing every mission, and we were doing it, like, stealthily. David joined, and suddenly we were in choppers, parachuting with C4 into the middle of these drop zones, fucking dying, constantly blowing shit up, using grenades, and it was, like, a completely different game. But you can just, so I just like the fact that you can, like, do whatever the fuck you want in it. As opposed to, like, a Titanfall, which has, like, a very good, tight campaign, but it's, like, the campaign is the campaign.
It's like, a 5-hour campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are a lot of games.
That's what I'm trying to do. I know Ghost Recon is the direct contradiction to that, but I'm trying my best to play short games because I'm like, I can commit to a 7-hour beat time. Like, I think that's part of my problem is that I keep trying to play, like, fucking, like, you know, Dragon Age Inquisition, which has, like, a 70-hour campaign, or I'll try to play these, like, epic long games. I think I need to just, like, break myself in with some, like, real just, like, in and out, like, 6-hour campaigns.
Yeah.
To get back into, like, actually finishing games.
I mean, that's the main reason, like, I refuse to buy, like, Red Dead Redemption 2, and I'm very hesitant about buying Cyberpunk, because those kind of games take a lot of time investment, and they're just not the kind of games I like, because I know I'm not going to beat them. Like, I'm still doing Skyrim, like, at this point. Like, I'm still in Skyrim trying to beat it.
I'm still playing Breath of the Wild. I jump into Breath of the Wild at least once a week still.
Yeah, it's I can take one of those games. For a long time, it was Fallout 3. I played Fallout 3 from, like, 2008 to, like, 2014. Like, that was, like, I can't handle a bunch of those games. But, yeah, if you get into more, like, story-based games, I mean, I kind of suffer from the exact opposite problem of where I have completed a lot of games, but I have a bit of an addiction where if a game's under $20, I buy it. If it's on sale. So I buy a new game sometimes every other day, and I have this backlog of hundreds of games on my Xbox that I have not played yet. But I still, like, yesterday I bought Shadow of War, and I'm probably not going to play it for a year or two. But
I beat Shadow of Mordor. I've been thinking about getting Shadow of War, but also part of me is like, you're not going to finish Shadow of War, so, like, why get Shadow of War?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't stop myself.
I beat Doom, which I played way later than it came out, so that's not like it wasn't. I didn't play it. That would have been around the time I played Resident Evil 7. Yeah. So it was either Doom or Resident Evil 7 was the last game that I completed.
That's more the kind of games you got to get into, like Doom, the Wolfensteins, where it's like you drop in, you can put it on an easy difficulty at want. It's kind of mindless, but it's a lot of fun, and you just zoom through the campaign and just like, all right, that was. Well,
that's my big issue, is I can't play games where I have to, like, devote all of my focus to, like, paying attention to what's happening.
Oh, yeah.
It's part of the reason why, like games that are, like, too plot rich, I, like, can't get in. Like, the reason I like Ghost Recon is because I can just, like, throw on a YouTube video or throw on, like, some
Logan Paul,
and just hang out and listen to music and just run around and kill shit.
Yeah.
And, like, Doom was the same way. I would just, like, put on, like, at the time I was listening to, like, a rap album, I'd put on, like, JID, and I'd just run around and just, like, fucking kill, like, monsters.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, when you get into games that are, like, too plot heavy, then it also has the opposite effect where I'm like, all right, I can't focus on this for, like, 8 hours straight.
Yeah, I understand that completely. I mean, that was the big appeal with Sea of Thieves for me for a while, was I would just be like, I don't know what to play, but I don't want to play something that's going to, like, I want to listen to, like, some music or something while I play, so I'm just going to play Sea of Thieves. And
I mean, that's part of the reason why I buy Madden every year, and why Madden is every single year my most played video game, is because it is the epitome of, I can start a team in Madden and be drafting new players. It's always slightly different because I'm drafting different players, so my team is made up differently, but I don't have to listen to anything in the game, and I can be watching any TV show or watching any YouTube video or listening to any music and just playing Madden constantly.
Yeah.
But anyway, E3.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, gosh, I don't know where to start. I mean, I'm super... The one I'm excited for the most is Gears of War 5. I mean, that's my third favorite game franchise of all time, so naturally...
What's number 2?
Final Fantasy. Resident Evil is my favorite Final Fantasy than Gears of War. But in between those franchises and, like, the next franchises. There's like a huge gap. Like those are easily my 3 favorite. But yeah, I know a lot of people aren't excited for it because it looks very different. But I mean, it's Gears of War. At this point, they've kind of mastered the formula, and it looks like they're gonna add some new stuff. Like the new game mode looks really fun. Which it's. I don't have too much to say
Jake,
about it, but I'm just excited.
What are your thoughts on the new Gears? Because, like, I'm in our group pretty noted as, like, I don't like Gears. Like, I don't really give a fuck. So, like, it's not that surprising that I saw the trailer for Gears and I was like, whatever. Christian's excited about it, but Christian also, like, really, really loves Gears. You're kind of, like, you like Gears, but you're not, like, a super fanboy.
I'll play it. I mean, I think it's okay. I mean, as far as third-person shooters go, it's pretty average, to be honest with you, even though it was one of the first, and people say it's perfected. I think it's just okay, just because it's so stiff and, it's very basic. I'll go ahead and play it. I'll probably play the Horde mode a bit, but as far as, like, the story goes, I don't care about it. I hate the multiplayer, so it's really just going to be the Horde mode I do.
Yeah, the multiplayer is... I mean, I've gotten into it once in a while. Like, I'll go through bingers where I played a lot, but it's very, very niche. Like, the playstyle, it's not like a casual multiplayer you can just hop into. It's extremely, like, competitive, and if you're not good at the flow, then you're never going to be good at it. Like, it's just, well, I can't say you're never going to be good at it, but it's not a very fun time if you're not, if you're just trying to jump into it. So, yeah, I mean, I'm super excited. Me and Gage are going to play the campaign together because we played all 5 Gears together at this point.
I'm most excited for whatever new Microsoft exclusives are going to be, because we should say we're all Xbox players. Jake's going to switch over to the PS5 in the next gen, but we're all Xbox players currently. And so my big thing is, like, Gears and Halo both, to me, even if core fans are still really liking the games, and I'm happy for you, I'm not trying to take anything away from that. It's like those series feel very tired to me at this point, where it's like, all right, we've played, like, you guys have put out one of these for like 10 years now. Like, we're on Gears 6. We're not counting like Judgment or whatever. We're on Halo 6 because you got like all the fucking ones that aren't numbered, like Reach and all that. It's like, I'm ready for like the next thing where it's not like, oh, we're just coming out with another Halo game, we're just coming out with another Gears game.
The issue is the fact that at E3, as far as I know, Microsoft didn't announce any big new series. So it's just...
They did announce Outer Worlds, which is an exclusive IP for Microsoft. And that looks pretty cool. It's like got a Fallout in space kind of vibe, I guess, if I said that right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the chances of that turning into a series are, though. I mean, as far as like new, like, this could potentially be a new series, I'm pretty skeptical, and that's the reason I'm gonna switch. The 2 things I was looking forward to are Cyberpunk and, weirdly enough, Blair Witch.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk, just in the fact that I will say I'm not a big fan of The Witcher. I do like the idea of like the like futuristic tech, like kind of Blade Runner. Even though I don't like Blade Runner 1, I like Blade Runner 2. I think it's a cool world and a cool idea. Based upon what I've seen of the game, it looks like it could be everything Parker hates, basically, a very story-driven and choice-heavy game.
Yeah, right.
So that looks cool. And then Blair Witch, just because the Blair Witch project is fucking sweet. So if they can get
that Blair Witch trailer looked fucking cool.
If they can get anything close to that, I'll for sure check it out.
Yeah, it looks like Outlast, sort of, which, I mean, those are fantastic games, so I'm definitely going to grab that. And it's only $30, so I
could go for some good horror because I'm indifferent on the horror genre. I haven't played a ton of it, but I've enjoyed what I have played. But Lauren gets absolutely fucking mortified. She could not finish Resident Evil 7 because she was getting so scared playing it. So I'm excited for a new horror game to come out so that I can force her to play it.
Do me a favor. We own the Silent Hill HD collection, which admittedly the quality is not very good. Have her play through Silent Hill 2.
I remember us playing Silent Hill 2 in high school. I would be interested to see what she thinks of it.
I told you before, that is the only that's the only thing, like movie, game, anything, that still scares me to this day. Like playing that game, absolutely, it's horrifying to me.
I remember specifically the mannequins in when you're in the what's that like first big area, like the hotel?
It's an
The
apartment building.
hospital. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the apartment building. That's what it is. I remember being in the apartment building and you just like walk up and you see a mannequin and you're like, fuck, is this like this thing's gonna, and like the way they move is just so fucking creepy.
I'm the opposite. I mean, one of the scariest games that I can remember, it was a game called Fatal Frame 2, but it's also a game I haven't played
That was
in
a creepy
probably
game.
oh, it's very creepy. I haven't played it in probably 14 years or so. But I went back and tried to play Silent Hill 2 and 3. It didn't scare me as much cuz I think just like you have the old school graphics, it just doesn't do it. The most scary game I played recently was Outlast 2. It's one of the more recent horror games, but like
Here's what I'll say about Silent Hill. It gave me the same feeling. I don't know if either of you have ever seen the movie Prisoners with Jake Gyllenhaal and Hugh Jackman.
Nope.
So basically, the movie is about like these kids get kidnapped, and it's the parents like falling apart trying to find them. The reason I'm tying this in is at the end of the movie, I saw it in the theaters. At the end of the movie, I was just in my chair and I was like, I'm fucking exhausted. Like I feel emotionally drained from this movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same with Silent Hill. It's not like Outlast is scary in the sense of like, fuck, I rounded a corner. There's 6 guys with, machetes chasing me. So yeah, Outlast is definitely a more like pulse pounding game. Silent Hill is just filled with such dread and a feeling of unease the entire time that while it doesn't have any like it does have its moments where it's like the mannequins where it's like I wasn't expecting that, like that scared the shit out of me. It's just this feeling of like gloom and despair that just is throughout the entire game that gets to me. Like I can't explain it, but when I play that game, like I feel like I could only play it for a couple of hours. It's one of my favorite games of all time, but I can only play it for a couple of hours before I have to stop and play something else, just because like I can't play it for that long.
Yeah. Something that I'm very excited for coming out of E3, because I'm now looking at a list myself. They announced a new Baldur's Gate, which, if you're unfamiliar, is like as close to like a straight up D&D video game as you can get. And like literally they're like selling it as like we're just trying to make a 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons.
You know who's making it, right?
The people who made Divinity.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah. And I am super excited for that. Christian, if you've not seen the trailer for the new Baldur's Gate, you should check it out. It's got a fucking mind flare in it. And it, like, even without, like, knowing what the gameplay is, just, like, the premise alone, I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, because they're selling it as, like, this is, like, a D&D.
It's PC.
game,
It's
and I'm
PC only.
Oh, that's why I've never heard of it.
No.
Yeah. Damn. That does sound cool, though.
I'll buy a PC.
You know, it's not PC only that's coming out.
Huh.
The Age of Empires 2 remake.
I did see that. See, Age of Empires, I played a decent amount of it back in the day in like middle school and elementary school and a little bit in high school. I'm not a big fan of real-time strategy games because unlike turn-based where I can stop and think, real-time you gotta be fucking cooking from the out because it is all just going off.
I can't play against people. You better believe I'm going to be doing a ton of games against bots, though.
Oh, fuck yeah. Well, especially because, like, the thing about playing people in those types of games is, like, there's just, like, it gets too much into you have to do this, this, and this the second the game starts, and then immediately you're doing this, and then you just start pushing on somebody else, and then you're fucking up what they're doing, and then you got, like, it's like there's, like, a track that you have to do, and if you do, like, if you try to be creative at all, it's like, all right, well, you're fucked because you didn't do the most objectively, like, beneficial thing. So while I'm excited, and like Brennan, while we were watching the press conference, was like freaking the fuck out about the new Age of Empires, I was just like, oh, all right, cool.
It's free on Game Pass, so you know.
Ooh, is
yeah,
it?
so I mean,
Yeah, it
I'll
is.
definitely
It
download
is.
it.
So I'll try it. I'm the same way. I've never had the patience or skill to play real-time strategy games, so I tried playing Halo Wars, and we both know how that went, Jake. So
Yeah, you were pretty bad at it.
yeah, I was terrible at it.
They announced a new Wastelands game, which is like kind of an XCOM-esque game that takes place in like a wasteland in Colorado. That game looks really fucking cool. I'm excited about that. That looks like that'll be some fun. Also, another game that I can just fucking throw on some music or watch a YouTube video and just run around and XCOM people. So I'm excited about that. And then, what did we think of? Since I feel like we'll all actually have an opinion on this, what did we think of the Jedi Fallen Order gameplay that we finally saw?
I was underwhelmed.
It was okay. Yeah, I mean,
I certainly wasn't blown away, but I also was like, all right, like that's kind of what I would expect. Like,
yeah, it's a Star Wars game, so I'm not gonna get it. I'm not gonna pre-order it. I'm not gonna get it day of. That's gonna be one of those games where if it comes out and people are saying it's fantastic, then I will buy it. But I'm not gonna take a chance and pre-order it.
See, I actually feel safer with that one buying it day one just because it is story only. So it's like there's only like if it's a game that's like a quote unquote squad game, because we were talking about that last week. Like that's something that like if it's bad, then like yeah, you don't want to jump in on like an Anthem because then it's like all right, well that was a waste of. But with a story game, it's like if you don't really love it, it's not the end of the world. If you still finish the story and it was just like a solid or like decent game, then like you didn't really lose out that much.
The only big problem with story games too, though, is for instance, like you take Titanfall 2. Let's say you really, really hate the campaign, but you love the multiplayer, is you have the multiplayer to fall back on. The scary thing about single player games is if you don't like the single player, there's nothing to fall back on. You just don't like the game.
That's true, but I if anything am more of a fan of single player only games, and I'm less of a fan of the trend that's moving towards everything is only multiplayer.
Oh yeah.
Like the antithesis of that, a good story mode game, like a Breath of the Wild, which is just like a fucking solid ass story game, like I will take that over a fucking Titanfall 2 if Titanfall 2 multiplayer is your fucking bread and butter any day.
Oh yeah, me too. I mean, with the amount that games have been coming out where the multiplayer is just absolutely broken, the only games I ever do pre-order are usually single player only games, but I'm still hesitant. Honestly, I'm just hesitant about games in general nowadays because of all the stuff that's been going on, like the anthems and everything. Unless it's a franchise like Gears of War, where it's one of the games I live for, then I'm not going to pre-order it. I think the only ones I'm going to 100% pre-order are that and Borderlands, because those are two of my favorite franchises. Nothing else.
Here's the issue with Star Wars for me. The Star Wars game. When I was looking at it, it looked like I saw barely any difference between that and The Force Unleashed. The issue with it is the fact that you can go in and say, every war game is similar. Every blank game is similar, and fair enough. The thing is, though, they don't exist within the same series, so you have enough liberty to go ahead and make creative differences or, make it a big enough impact to where it doesn't feel like the same thing. So even though both are a war game, there's differences between them. The issue with Star Wars is the fact that, and Star Wars games is the fact that it's based off of a very, very, very well-established series, and they've already done everything with it. So at this point, what do you realistically do? Like watching that game, yeah, obviously it looked better, and there were a couple gameplay differences, but like all in all, it wasn't any different than Jedi Outcast or Force Unleashed. It's just like I know exactly what this game is going to be and what the deal is. I mean, I'm not that invested in the story, and maybe that's the hook that I just don't get. But
yeah, well, that's what I'm like. For me, the selling point is it's Star Wars. Like I agree that it looks very much Force Unleashed, but it's like it's a Star Wars game, and I like Star Wars, so I'm gonna like assuming that hopefully the story is like at least like solid and enjoyable, which it seems like it is because it's based on like the Jedi being hunted down, and there's like the fucking Inquisitors in it and shit, and like that's all really neat. But like I mean, it's like you already brought up the example, which kind of weakens it for me to use it as an argument against you. But it's like, I mean, how much World War II games? It's like how much difference can there really be? There's gonna be the N1 Garand in every World War II game. There's gonna be a D-Day mission in just about every World War II game. Like you're gonna hit the same story points in every World War II game, but like if they come out with a new World War II based video. Like, I guess they just kind of
But-
did that round with Call of Duty and
but here's-
Battlefield. But like, if they did another one, we would all be
Here's the
excited
thing.
about like, oh fuck yeah, they're going back to World War II.
Here's the thing: you can make it a bit different, though. You can make it. This one's a squad-based shooter. This one, you're like a super soldier. A super soldier. This one's a straight-up FPS. And on top of that, you can have different gameplay within each of them. And you can do that within Star Wars. My favorite Star Wars game of all time is Star Wars Bounty Hunter, where you play as Jango Fett. It's just a third-person shooter. I also love Republic Commando, which is just a first-person squad-based shooter. I like them because they're unique. How many different things can you do when you have such a set of rules? With like a hack, like with a Jedi-based game, like you know exactly what you're going to be able to do. You know what you're not going to be able to do. It's just like I don't see the appeal to it. And it's about, you mentioned the story. That's almost a kind of a not a selling point too, because it's like this character's never been mentioned. Not in the books, not in the movies, not in the TV shows, as far as I know. It's like, how impactful is the story if this character has never even been mentioned or thought of before?
Well, that's the thing with Star Wars though, is like, because you're like and I don't mean this as like an insult, like we're above you way. That
I'm a very very casual Star
You're
Wars
a very
fan.
baseline.
Yeah.
You like the movies; they're fine, and you enjoy them, and you've played some of the games, so you know a little bit of like the EU stuff. But like, as someone like Gage or Christian or Vince or I, who have read a lot of the books or seen a lot of the shows or watched a lot of and like have seen all the movies countless times, like you just get used to the fact that like all the people in the Rebels TV show have never been mentioned in a movie and are mentioned in books that were only made because the Rebels TV show is coming out. So they were like, cool, we can throw in a cameo here.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that the TV show itself isn't still like a fun story and isn't really cool. And there still is stuff that happens in it that like definitely impacts the rest of the greater galaxy. Even if in the next Star Wars movie, they're not like, holy shit, that Rebels crew was fucking awesome. So like, you just kind of get used to the wiggle room of like, sure, this isn't going to be on par with a Star Wars movie where like the entire galaxy is going to change and this is the main story of what's happening. But like, we're still going to get a cool ass Star Wars story. Like, we know about the Inquisitors from Rebels and that they're hunting down the Jedi that are still alive. We know a lot of them are dead. This is probably going to be a story about how some of them died. We're going to see maybe some of them die that we didn't see die in the TV show. And it'll just be cool because there will be tie-ins to other Star Wars things that we can be like, oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, Rebels is the best example of that because when they first announced that show, I thought the same thing. And I was like, how are they going to make a squad of rebels that apparently were like huge if we've never heard of them? But by the end of that show, it's my favorite Star Wars show. I like it more than Clone Wars. And it's one of my favorite animated shows at this point too. So they can pull it off. It just depends on if they do or not. And we'll see.
Yeah, to me, it's just... And, like, there was enough, like... There's, like, some of the Titanfall wall running, and, like... There's enough that, like... I'm excited in a, like... When it comes out, I'm gonna buy it type way. Like, I'm not sitting here fucking jerking my dick thinking about this new Star Wars game and how it's gonna be the greatest thing that's ever happened. But it's one of those things that I'm like, this looks fucking cool, and, like, when it comes out, that'll, like... Dope. That'll be rad.
Yeah.
And hopefully the game and the story like live up to at least the like base 7.5 or 8 out of 10 type game.
Yeah, if it's good, I'll buy it.
I hope for your sake and more importantly, Gage's sake, that you are right, because I know that he.
Gage will be disheveled if this game is anything below a 7.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
no,
man.
but fingers crossed it is. But boys, do we want to? We've been chatting for some time. Do we want to go ahead and call it a night here?
I think we can go ahead and wrap it up.
Yeah,
here.
yeah, we had a good one.
Well, gentlemen, I assume we'll go ahead. I know that we missed last week due to me being out of the out of the state here. What Chris and I were talking about though, Parker, the other day, is we would like to make this a weekly deal where we go ahead and if I'm out, have someone else cycle in and fill my place. So we can keep this consistent here. But next week I'm gonna be here. The two of you are. So again, par for the course. Go ahead and think of a topic each, and we will plan on having a chat with
Another
each other.
moment of honesty.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say the title, but yeah, we'll have a little chat with each other.
Cool.
All right, boys.
All right,
It's been a good talk.
It's been an absolute pleasure, gentlemen.